What's up, everybody? How you doing out there? Welcome back to another episode of Pepe's Point of View. I'm your favorite host, your favorite R&B historian, your favorite music critic, Pepe. And as you know, the month of February is Black History Month, and I decided to celebrate it by looking up a list of top Black female albums of all time. And you know how these lists can be sometimes, right? You know, they can be a tad bit controversial simply because is it talent, is it marketing, or the song's good, or the song's not good. You see where I'm going? Can this diva sing? Can this diva not sing? You know. Anywho, I actually looked up a list, to be quite honest with you, and I was surprised to see that this particular list that I was looking at did not have the ladies of In Vogue on the list. And I was shocked. I really was. I'm like, Funky Divas? In Vogue's Funky Divas is not on that list. Destiny's Child was on the list, TLC was on the list, but the Funky Divas? Well, you already know by now that I actually did upload a video uh, with the Funky Divas, the In Vogue's album Funky Divas. So if you have not checked that out, please do so. The video is already up. Anywho, today we are talking about Mariah Carey. Now, listen, let me tell you guys something. As I was getting ready to talk about this album, her second album, Emotions, I don't know why I just automatically thought to myself, I'm like, is Mariah Carey, black? Is she of African American descent? Like, that's what I'm thinking to myself. Like, I'm going to put this down as Black History Month, uh, hashtag Black History Month, but is Mariah Carey black? And then I remember thinking to myself, I'm like, wait a minute, I think she has, uh, her background. I mean, she has a lot of, let's just say, heritage, if you will. And so I decided to look up to make sure that she did have African American roots. And come to find out, her father um, is African American, part African American. So I was like, "Ooh, okay." Because I was thinking to myself, I think I was still going to do the video anyway. So I was like, "Oh my gosh." But anyway, it is what it is. We're talking about Mariah Carey. I'm sorry if y'all can hear that in the background. That is my phone. It's going off in the background, and I'm not going to get up to try to turn it off. So if you hear anything in the background going off, that is my phone. Sorry about that, but it's not in arm's reach. Anywho, moving right along. We're talking about Mariah Carey. Now, when it comes to Mariah Carey in this particular album, let me just say, I have some things to say. Now, I know you guys are looking at it and probably saying certified quadruple platinum. That's right, certified quadruple platinum. But, according to sales, this album actually sold 8 million copies, okay? Short, about 6, 7, 8 million short of her previous album, the Mariah Carey album, her debut album. But anyway, we're going to talk about something just a tidbit. I won't be too long with this one because, I'm going to hit it and quit it, so to speak. I'm not going to be long. Emotions is the second studio album by Mariah Carey. It was released September the 17th, 1991, by Columbia Records. The album deviated from the formula of Carey's 1990 self titled debut album. She had more creative control over the record as far as production because I think she actually wrote on the first album, right? So I think it was she had control over the production. Emotions feature influences from a range of different genres, as well as the 1950s, 60s, 70s balladry infusion. On the record, Carey worked with a variety of producers and writers, including Walter, and I can never say that man's name. I can never say it. Walter, I'm going to say Walter Fan. A Phoenicia? I'm gonna find out how to pronounce that man's name. But anyway, the only holdover from her previous effort. Okay. Additionally, Carey wrote and produced the album's material with Robert uh, Claviers. Um, hey, CNC Music Factory. Oh, I'm in the. I guess I'm in that mood today. Claveles. I never could pronounce that name either. Hey, CNC Music Factory. That's who she worked with. Okay, it is what it is. We're gonna be. I guess this is gonna be pretty much a relaxed video today for me. Okay, it won't be so intense. Oh, so intense. Lisa Fisher, so intense. Is that my? Should I cover Lisa Fisher so intense? Maybe I will. You never know. Emotions debuted at number 4 on the US Billboard 200 with first week sales of 129,000 units sold. Surprisingly, critics following the success of Mariah Carey. In total, the album spent 27 weeks in the top 20 and a total of 54 weeks on the albums chart. Though it was her second consecutive top 10 album in the US, it became Carey's longest peaking album there until Glitter. Emotions was certified 4 times platinum by the Recording Industry Association of America, denoting shipments of 4 million copies within the United States. According to Nelson SoundScan, the album states-wide sales are estimated at 3,595,000. In Canada, Emotions debuted at number 14 on the Canadian RPM albums chart, issued date October the 5th, 1991. 4 weeks later, on the issue date of November the 2nd, 1991, the album reached its peak position of number 6, staying there for 1 week. At the end of the year, Emotions finished number 35 on the year-end albums chart of 1991. To date, the album has been certified 4 time platinum by the Canadian Recording Industry Association, denoting shipments of 400,000 units. Emotions has sold 8 million copies worldwide, short of the 15 million sold by her debut 1990 album. Now let's get some things just pretty much out of the way, okay? Because you guys already know when I do these reviews, especially back reviews, I have to talk about what I was doing at the time, how I was feeling, about the particular diva or crooner I'm covering. When Mariah Carey first came out, I have to admit, uh, I was probably like everyone else. And number one, I was saying to myself, after hearing Vision of Love, the single, and when you get to the end of the song, and she goes and she hits the notes that she's known for hitting, I was like, this white girl can sing. And I think that that's what everybody was saying. This white girl can sing. And not only did we like the song, it made it even better when we were saying this white girl can sing. And we embraced her. Now, did this follow her career for the rest of her career? Who knows? But I would like to think that everybody was thinking that way. And somebody probably will say the same when we're thinking about certain singers such as Tina Marie and what's that other child's name? Taylor Dane. Okay, so we got Tina Marie, we have Taylor Dane, we have Mariah Carey. All right, and my thing is when I think about these divas when they cross over to, and I can say that I don't think people really talk about that crossover, right? People don't talk about that a lot, but you have to be quite honest that we need to talk about the white artists who cross over into urban music, R&B music. It does happen, and that's why I think that Mariah Carey was so embraced. Okay, now what I'm going to do up to this point in the albums I have covered, because I told you for whatever reason my approach with this one is going to be a tad bit different, because you have to think about something for a second. I've covered Tina Turner, Aaliyah, Mary J. Blige, Brandy, and In Vogue, and now I am covering Mariah Carey. And the albums I'm covering are multi-million sellers. Okay, when I think about this album and I think about Brandy's album that I just covered, I have to say that even though this album has sold 8 million copies worldwide, this is not a good album to me. It falls in the same category as a Aaliyah. You know, Aaliyah's album, Age Ain't Nothing But a Number. I'm saying to myself, like, all right, Aaliyah, it has some good singles like Aaliyah's Back and Forth, At Your Best, You Are Love, so on and so forth. But for the most part, the album is not an album that I can just say, I love this album. I would not necessarily vote for Aaliyah's album to be album of the year. Now, somebody would probably vote for Mariah Carey's album to be album of the year, but I would still say I really don't care too much for the album. But I think the thing that makes this album such a good album and sold a lot of records is because of the singles, which would be obviously Emotions, right? Emotions is a big hit for Mariah Carey. I love Make It Happen. Okay. So the singles, and if you think about it from a album standpoint, typically, if you get four good singles, four good songs on an album, and they are great singles, then you can pretty much say that you have a great album. Like the album is going to sell, and the rest of the album is going to be fillers. And that's how I look at this album. Like I love Emotions. I would listen to Emotions, but if I had to choose, for me, the single on the album that I just kept on repeat over and over again is Make It Happen. I love the message on the song. I love the production of the song. I love the singing of the song. I love choirs, and to see that it has that choir background with it, like it has the components of a great song to me. Like Make It Happen has everything in a song that I love. Okay. Now we talked about her comparing this album with Aaliyah's album, and I'm like, no, cut for cut, this is not my favorite album. Like I can do without. Honestly, I can do without Mariah Carey's Emotions album. Okay. I love the debut album. But remember, I was talking about Brandy and I was saying Brandy, like, I love Brandy's album. Like, Never Say Never. I was like, oh my gosh. I'm like, Brandy, really? Okay, now it makes sense, Brandy. Now I understand, Brandy, what you were trying to do, so on and so forth, correct? Because cut for cut, that album, Brandy's Never Say Never, she did it. The thing that was lacking with Brandy was her vocals. I still think that she's not a diva when it comes to her the way she approached her singing. Okay, and this Mariah Carey album Emotions proves my point that I've been trying to make, and that is Mariah Carey's diva status. Right, she does all the diva things on this album. Like everything is just pretty much over the top. Like it's her singing. We just love her singing. So we know we're going to get a good vocal out of her, and everything else is either going to be a hit or a miss. And that's why I feel like when it comes to uh, this album, it's just not on point with me. You know, I don't know what you guys think about it, but that's kind of like where I'm flowing with this album. Like Cincy Music Factory, because they are the hit production team at the time, and they're giving us this sound that we everyone is trying to kind of grasp, so to speak. Have on their album. People are working with them, and they're trying to get this CNC Music Factory sound. That's the reason why it works so well with Mariah Carey, and the song is just awesome. So if you think about it, Mariah Carey, this is her sophomore album. She has a great, like a huge single with Emotions. We love it. She's doing everything that we love about her. So if she has already have a fan base with 15 million people already out there who loves her so much, I'm willing to bet that the majority of the people who purchased the album and put it into the million selling category will probably be those who just love Mariah Carey and was taking a risk of saying, "Well, I'm going to go ahead on and buy the album." Because the last album was such a good album. This single has all of the components and more. Like Mariah Carey took her steroids. I say with In Vogue, In Vogue with the Fucking Divas album. The Fucking Divas album is the Born to Sing album on steroids. And that's kind of like how I feel with Mariah Carey's singles, Emotions and Make It Happen. Mariah Carey took her steroids. And so now, it's kind of like this thing is really popping, so to speak. So that's kind of like how I feel with this Emotions album. I could do without it. Yeah, I really can do without it. But if I'm looking for some good singing, some good diva stuff, then go for it. I'm telling you, get start here. Yeah, like I said, this wasn't going to be long at all when it comes to how I feel about this particular album. Like it's Mariah Carey being diva, you know, and probably by the time they release the second single, "Make It Happen," this is just me, assuming is probably the reason why it didn't sell as well as the previous album because the songs just were not there. You follow me? Now, let me see here. I just want to check real quick because it appears to me that this album had probably three singles that was released, right? Three singles released off the Emotions album. And as I said, pretty big singles, okay? But with the first album, it had five singles. Vision of Love, Love Takes Time, Someday, I Don't Want to Cry, and there's got to be a way. All right. So you got five singles. And that's what I'm saying. The first album was just in there with the songs, so on and so forth. And we just loved what we were hearing. And I just really and truly think that, nah, it just wasn't in there. Yeah. Well, anyway, I want to thank you guys. If you made it this far in my review, I think it's only appropriate for me to say, hey, hang out with me for a while, chill with me, hit the like button, the subscribe button, the share button, the like button, leave comments, all of that stuff. You know what I'm saying? I definitely do welcome your support. And my motto over here is very, very simple. Okay. It is a simple motto, and I think you should do it. Put your behind where your heart desires to be. And whenever I leave my mother's presence, she always says to me, she says, "Baby, remember, I love you, but God loves you best." I look forward to seeing you next video. And until then, you already know what to do by now. Take care of you. All right. Talk to you later.